Light Language. Chapter 1. The Secret of Light. Light is everywhere. It's in the sun, the stars, and even in the lamps in your home. But did you know that light can also speak? Not in words that we can hear with our ears, but in feelings, images, and energy. This is called light language. Light language is a way of talking without words. It is something that comes from the heart, the mind, and the energy around us. Imagine feeling a soft, warm glow in your chest. This glow can tell you something without using any words. It can give you peace or help you understand something new. This is the secret of light language. Many people don't know about it, but light language has been around for a long time. It is a language that everyone can learn if they open their hearts. You don't need to know many words. You don't even need to speak at all. All you need is to feel the energy and light around you. This story is about different people who discovered light language and how it changed their lives. Each person found it in a special way, and each learned something important from it. Some found it while walking in the forest, others while dreaming or looking at the stars. And all of them learned that light language is everywhere, waiting to be heard. Chapter 2. Sarah's Discovery. Sarah was a curious girl who loved nature. Every day after school, she would go to the big tree in the park and sit under its wide branches. It was her favorite place to relax, read, or just watch the clouds in the sky. One afternoon, as she sat quietly under the tree, something unusual happened. A soft golden light began to glow around her. At first, she thought it was just the sunlight shining through the leaves. But this light felt different. It was warm, like a comforting hug, and she felt calm and happy. As Sarah closed her eyes, she felt something even stranger. The light was showing her pictures in her mind. She saw a field of flowers, birds flying in the sky, and even a river flowing gently by. It was like a dream, but she wasn't asleep. She could feel everything so clearly. What is this? Sarah wondered. Is the light talking to me? The images she saw didn't have any words, but she felt she understood them. The light wasn't just showing her pictures, it was sharing feelings too. When she saw the birds flying, she felt free and full of joy. When she saw the river, she felt peaceful, as if the water was washing away all her worry. Sarah didn't know it yet, but she had just discovered light. The light around her was speaking to her in its own way, using energy and feelings instead of words. She didn't need to speak to understand. She only needed to feel. From that day on, Sarah visited the big tree often. Every time she sat there, she felt the same warm light. Sometimes it showed her more pictures. Other times it filled her heart with peace and love. Sarah knew that this was something special, something she couldn't explain to her friends or family. It was her secret. Sarah had learned that light can speak, and she didn't need to hear it with her ears. She could feel it with her heart. Chapter 3. What is light language? Light language is not like any language you hear in school. It doesn't have words, sentences, or grammar rules. Instead, it is a way to communicate through energy, light, and feelings. Many people don't know about it, but it is a language that everyone can understand, no matter where they are from. Imagine you are sitting in a quiet room. There is no sound, but you feel calm and relaxed. Suddenly, you feel a gentle breeze, and with it comes a feeling of happiness. You don't hear any words, but you understand the feeling. This is how light language works. It speaks through emotions and energy, not through words. Light language is like a song without sound. You don't need to listen with your ears. You listen with your heart. It is everywhere around us, in the light of the sun, in the stars, even in the air we breathe. Some people can feel it when they are quiet and calm, while others may find it in dreams or special moments. But light language is not just about feeling calm. It can also help you understand things in a new way. It can show you pictures or ideas, just like Sarah saw when she sat under her tree. These pictures may not make sense at first, but they have meaning. They can help guide you or teach you something important. Anyone can learn to understand light language. You don't need to study books or practice talking. You just need to be open and listen to the light and energy around you. The more you pay attention, the more you will start to feel it. Light language is a universal language. It doesn't matter what country you come from or what language you speak. Everyone can connect to it because it is a part of the energy of the universe. And the best part? You don't need to say a single word to understand. Chapter 4. Tom's New Friend. Tom was a boy who loved adventure. One summer, he went camping with his family in a forest near the mountain. The forest was full of tall trees, and there were trails that led deep into the wood. Tom was excited to explore. One morning, while his parents were still asleep, Tom decided to go for a walk. He grabbed his backpack, followed a path into the forest. The sun was shining and everything felt calm. But after walking for a while, Tom realized he didn't know where he was. He had wandered off the main path and was lost. First, Tom felt a little scared. He wasn't sure how to get back to the campsite. But then, he noticed something strange. There was a bright light in the distance, glowing between the trees. It wasn't the sun because the light was moving. It seemed to be calling to him, like a friend waving to him from far away. Tom decided to follow the light. As he walked closer, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. The light led him through the trees and over a small hill. Finally, after what felt like a long time, he found himself back on the main path. Tom was amazed. He knew the light had guided him. But how? He hadn't heard any words, and the light hadn't spoken to him in any way he could understand. Yet, somehow, he knew it had helped him. Later that day, Tom told his parents about the light. They didn't believe him at first, thinking it was just his imagination. But Tom knew what he had felt. The light had spoken to him, not with words but with feeling. It had shown him the way home, just like an old friend would. From that day on, Tom believed in light language. He didn't know how it worked. He knew it was real. He had felt its guidance, and it had kept him safe. Chapter 5. How people use light language. People use light language in many different ways, even if they don't realize it. Some people feel it when they are in nature, like Sarah sitting under her tree or Tom following the light in the forest. Others may find it in quiet moments, like when they are meditating or praying. But what can you do with light language? Light language helps people understand emotions and energy around them. It can guide you when you feel lost, like Tom, and bring you peace, like it did for Sarah. It can even help you connect with other people or animals without needing to speak. Imagine you are with a friend who is feeling sad. They don't tell you how they feel. You can sense it. You feel a heavy energy in the room. Without knowing it, you are using light language to understand their emotions. You don't need words to feel that they are sad. You just know. Some people, like artists and healers, use light language in their work. They may not even know they are using it, but they are. They create things that make people feel calm, happy, or understood. They work with energy, letting the light guide them. Light language can also help with healing. Some people believe that the energy from the light can make people feel better, both in their hearts and in their bodies. Healers who use light language send positive energy to others. Doesn't look like magic, but the person receiving it can feel lighter, as if their worries are being lifted away. You don't need to be special to use light language. Anyone can do it. All you need is to be open to the light around you and trust your feelings. The more you pay attention to the world around you, the easier it will be to understand what the light is trying to say. Chapter 6. Emily heals with light. Emily was a kind woman, worked as a nurse. She loved helping people and always tried to make them feel better when they were sick or hurt. But there was something special about Emily. Even though she didn't know it, she had a gift for using light language to heal. One day, Emily was working at the hospital when a little boy came in with a broken arm. He was very scared and in a lot of pain. Emily gently took his hand and smiled at him, trying to comfort him. As she held his hand, she felt a warm light flowing through her body. It was as if the light was moving from her hand to the boy, giving him strength. The boy looked up at her and stopped crying. "It doesn't hurt as much anymore," he whispered. Emily didn't say anything, but she knew something special had happened. She had felt the light inside her, and the boy had felt it too. It wasn't just her smile or her kind words that had helped him. It was the energy from the light. After that day, Emily began to notice the light more often. Whenever she helped someone, she felt the same warmth flowing through. Sometimes when people were feeling sad, she would sit with them quietly, and soon they would feel better. It was as if the light was speaking to their hearts, calming them down. Emily realized that she was using light language to heal. She didn't know how it worked, but she didn't need to. She trusted the light and let it guide her. She could feel it in her hands, heart, and sometimes even in her mind. The more she used it, the stronger the feeling became. As time went on, more people came to Emily when they were feeling sad or sick. They didn't always know why. Being around her made them feel better. Emily had learned to share the light with others, and she loved knowing that she was helping people in a special way. Chapter 7. The Science Behind Light Language. Although light language sounds mysterious, there are scientific ideas that can help explain it. Scientists study how energy moves and how it affects feelings in bodies. Light language is connected to this energy. You see, everything in the world is made of energy, even things we cannot see. Our bodies, our thoughts, and our emotions are all made of energy. Light is also a kind of energy, and it can be felt even if we don't see it with our eye. This is why people like Sarah, Tom, and Emily can feel the light in their hearts. When people talk about light language, they are really talking about the energy that is all around us. This energy moves in waves, like the waves in the ocean. Some waves are strong and fast, while others are gentle and slow. These waves can affect how we feel. For example, when you stand in the sunshine, feel warm and happy. The energy from the sun is making you feel good. But if you are near someone who is very angry, you might feel uncomfortable, even if they don't say anything. That's because their energy is affecting. Light language works with this energy. It doesn't use words, but it can still communicate with us through these energy waves. Some people are more sensitive to this energy than others. Everyone can learn to feel it if they try. Scientists have also studied how our brains react to energy. They found that certain types of light can make people feel calmer, more awake. This is why some people use special lights in their home to help them relax. Light has power, and light language taps into that power in a way that we can understand without words. Even though we don't know everything about light language yet, it's clear that it is connected to the energy that fuels the world. By learning to feel and understand this energy, we can communicate in a new way, just like Sarah, Tom, and Emily did. Chapter 8. Javier's Dream. Javier was a man who often had strange dreams. Sometimes his dreams were confusing, filled with people he didn't know or places he had never been. But one night, Javier had a dream that felt different. It was so real that when he woke up, he couldn't stop thinking about it. In the dream, Javier was walking through a dark forest. Trees were tall and the path was hard to see. But ahead of him, he noticed a bright, glowing figure. The figure didn't have a face, but it shone with a soft, white light. Javier didn't feel scared. Instead, he felt safe and calm, as if the figure was there to help him. The glowing figure didn't speak with words, but Javier understood everything it wanted to say. Felt it in his heart. The figure showed Javier scenes from his life. He saw himself as a young boy, playing with his friends. He saw his family, his work, and his hopes for the future. With each image, the light sent a feeling, a warm, peaceful feeling that told him everything was going to be okay. When Javier woke up, he felt like he had learned something important, even though he couldn't explain it. The dream had spoken to him through feelings, not words. Felt clearer, more focused on what mattered in his life. Javier didn't know it then, but he had experienced light language in his dream. The glowing figure was using light to communicate with him, showing him images and feelings instead of talking. And just like Sarah, Tom, and Emily, Javier had understood it, even without hearing a single word. Chapter 9. Light language in meditation. One of the most common ways people experience light language is through meditation. Meditation is a practice where people sit quietly, close their eyes, and focus on their breathing or thought. It helps them calm their minds and relax their body. But for some people, meditation can also be a way to connect with light language. When someone meditates, they are often more aware of the energy around them. In this quiet, focused state, they can feel the light and energy more clearly. They may feel a warm glow, see soft colors in their mind, feel a deep sense of peace. These are all signs that they are connecting with light language. Emma was one of those people. She had been meditating for many years, and she often felt a peaceful energy during her practice. But one day she experienced something different. As Emma sat quietly in her room, focusing on her breathing, she began to feel a soft light surrounding her. It was like a blanket of warmth, wrapping her in comfort. Then the light began to change. It became brighter, and Emma saw flashes of color behind her closed eyes. Blue, bold, pink. She didn't hear any words. She felt the light speaking to her. The light showed her pictures in her mind. Images of nature, animals, and people. Each picture came with a feeling, happiness, love, or calm. Emma felt like the light was guiding her, teaching her about the energy of the world around her. When the meditation was over, Emma opened her eyes and smiled. She felt refreshed, not just in her body, but in her mind and heart. She realized she had been speaking with the light, and it had shown her things she couldn't have understood with words alone. Light language had connected with her through meditation, helping her feel more peaceful and balanced. From that day on, Emma's meditations felt different. She didn't always see colors or pictures, but she could always feel the light around her. It was as if she had learned to listen in a new way, not with her ears, with her heart. Chapter 10. Power of Symbols. Light language doesn't only come through feelings, energy. Sometimes it shows itself through symbols, pictures, or shapes that have special meaning. These symbols are a part of the language of light and can help people understand deeper truths about themselves and the world around them. Symbols in light language can be very simple. A circle, star, or a line. Other times they are more complex, like a combination of shapes that form a pattern. Even though these symbols don't have letters or words, they carry powerful energy. When someone sees them, they can feel the meaning behind them. Nina was a young artist who loved to draw. One night, she had a dream that she couldn't forget. In the dream, she was standing in a bright white space, and all around her were glowing symbols. Some of the symbols looked like stars. Others were shapes she had never seen before. They moved in the air, shining like soft light. Nina didn't know what the symbols meant, but as she looked at them, she felt their power. Each symbol made her feel something different. One made her feel safe, another gave her a feeling of joy, and another filled her heart with love. It was like the symbols were speaking to her, not with words, but with feeling. When Nina woke up, she grabbed her notebook and started drawing the symbols she had seen in her dream. She didn't know why, but she felt that these symbols were important. As she drew them, she felt the same energy she had felt in her dream. It was as if the light was guiding her hand. Over the next few weeks, Nina continued to draw the symbols. She showed them to her friends, who were amazed by the beauty of her drawing. But what surprised Nina most was how her friends reacted. Whenever someone looked at her drawing, they felt something too. Some said they felt peaceful. Others said they felt happy or inspired. Nina realized that the symbols weren't just for her. They were a way to share light language with others. Even though they didn't have words, the symbols carried the energy of light. Anyone who looked at them feel it. Chapter 11. Light Language and Animals. Light language is not just for people. Animals, too, can understand and use the energy of light. They may not speak with words, but animals are very sensitive to energy, and they often communicate with people and each other through feelings, sounds, and even light. Maya had always loved animals, especially her dog Max. Max was a happy, playful dog who loved running in the park and playing fetch. But one day, Maya noticed that Max seemed different. He was quieter than usual and didn't want to play. Maya could tell that something was wrong, but Max couldn't tell her what he was feeling. One evening, as Maya sat on the couch with Max, she began to focus on the light around them. She had heard about light language before, and she wanted to try to connect with Max in a new way. She closed her eyes and imagined a soft, warm light surrounding both of them. As she focused on the light, she started to feel something. It was a gentle energy coming from Max. Maya couldn't hear words. She could feel his emotion. She felt a little bit of sadness, but also a lot of love. Max was trying to tell her that he didn't feel well. He still loved being close to her. Maya didn't know exactly what was wrong. She trusted the feeling. The next day, she took Max to the vet, and they found out that he had a small injury from playing too hard. The vet said it wasn't serious, but Max needed to rest for a while. Maya was amazed. She hadn't needed words to understand Max. The light had helped her feel what he was feeling. Light language had allowed her to connect with her dog in a way she never thought possible. From then on, Maya used light language to communicate with Max whenever she felt something was off. She knew that even though they didn't speak the same language, they could still share their feelings through the energy of light. Chapter 12. Lily's Story. Lily was a little girl who loved the stars. Every night she would stand by her window and look up at the sky, wondering about the bright lights shining far, far away. One evening, as she stared at the stars, she felt something different. One of the stars seemed to shine brighter than the others. It twinkled in a special way, as if it were trying to tell her something. Lily didn't know why. She couldn't stop looking at that star. As she watched, she felt a warm, happy feeling in her heart. It was as if the star was speaking to her, not with words but with light. She smiled, feeling peaceful and safe. That night, Lily had a dream. In her dream, she was flying through space, surrounded by stars. They glowed softly around her, and she could feel their energy. Each star sent her a message, but none of them used words. They spoke through light, filling her heart with love, peace, and joy. When Lily woke up, she felt calm and happy. She didn't understand everything that had happened in her dream, but she knew it was something special. The stars had spoken to her through light language, and she had understood their message with her heart. From then on, Lily looked at the stars in a new way. She knew they weren't just faraway lights. They were part of a bigger energy that connected everyone and everything. And even though she couldn't hear the stars speak, she could feel their messages in the light they shared. Chapter 13. Light Language and Music. Light language can also be found in music. Music is made of sound, but it is also made of energy. When we listen to music, we can feel different emotions: joy, sadness, excitement, or peace. This is because music carries energy in a way that affects our hearts and minds. Some musicians are able to use light language without even knowing it. Their music seems to carry more than just notes or words. It carries light. When we hear it, we feel something deep inside. It's as if the music is speaking to us in a language beyond words. Jacob was one of those musicians. He played the piano, and every time he sat down to play, he felt like the music was coming from somewhere deep within him. He didn't just play notes. He let the music flow through him as if he were channeling light through his fingers. One evening, Jacob was playing at a small concert. The audience sat quietly as he began to play a soft, peaceful melody. As he played, he felt something different. It was as if the light around him was joining with the music, creating a feeling of warmth and peace in the room. He closed his eyes and let the music guide him, trusting the light flow through each note. When the song was over, there was silence in the room. The audience didn't clap right away. They were too moved by what they had heard. One by one, people began to smile and wipe away tears. They didn't know why, but the music had touched them deeply. It wasn't just beautiful. It had spoken to their hearts. After the concert, a woman came up to Jacob and said, "Your music made me feel something I've never felt before. It was like you were speaking directly to my soul." Jacob smiled. He didn't know how to explain it, but he understood what she meant. A light had been in the music, and it had connected with her through the language of energy. He had shared light language without using a single word. Chapter 14. Light Language in Nature. Nature is one of the easiest places to connect with light language. Trees, wind, water, and the sky are all filled with energy, and that energy carries light. When people spend time in nature, they often feel more peaceful, balanced, and connected to the world around them. This is because they are tuning in to the light language that nature speaks. Sophie loved to go hiking in the mountain. Every weekend, she would pack her backpack and set out on a new trail. She loved the feeling of being surrounded by trees, breathing in the fresh air, and listening to the sounds of the birds and the wind. But one day, something special happened. As Sophie was walking along the trail, she stopped to take a break by a small stream. The water was clear and sparkling in the sunlight, and she felt a sense of peace as she watched it flow over the rocks. Suddenly, she noticed something different. The sunlight shining on the water seemed to be glowing in a way she had never seen before. It was as if the light was alive, dancing on the surface of the stream. Sophie closed her eyes and focused on the feeling of the light. She could feel it all around her, in the water, trees, even in the air. It was a soft, warm energy that made her feel completely at ease. She sat by the stream for a long time, letting the light fill her heart. When she finally opened her eyes, she felt different. She felt more connected to the world around her, as if she could hear the trees and the water speaking to her, not with words, but with their energy. Sophie realized that she had experienced light language in nature. The light had spoken to her through the energy of the earth, and she had understood its message of peace and connection. From that day on, Sophie felt the light more often when she was in nature. Whether she was sitting by a stream, walking through a forest, or watching the sunset, She knew that nature was always speaking the language of light, and she had learned how to listen. Chapter 15. A Message from the Stars. Light language doesn't just come from the earth. It can also come from the stars. People have long believed that the stars hold special energy, and many cultures around the world look to the stars for guidance. This belief comes from the idea that the light from the stars carries wisdom and knowledge from the universe. Alex was someone who loved looking at the stars. He had always been fascinated by space, and he spent many nights lying on his back, staring up at the sky. He didn't know why, but he always felt a deep sense of wonder when he looked at the stars. It was as if they were trying to tell him something. One night, as Alex lay in the grass, looking up at the sky, he noticed something strange. One of the stars seemed to be blinking in a way he had never seen before. It wasn't a normal twinkling. It was a steady, rhythmic blinking, like a code. Alex watched the star for a long time, feeling like it was trying to communicate with him. As he stared at the blinking light, he felt a wave of warmth wash over him. It was a feeling of peace and understanding, as if the star was sending him a message. Alex didn't hear any words, but he felt the meaning deep inside. The star was telling him that he was connected to the universe, that he was a part of something bigger than himself. The next morning, Alex couldn't stop thinking about the star. He realized that he had experienced light language from the stars. The light had carried a message, and even though it didn't use words, Alex had understood it. He felt a sense of calm, knowing that the universe was speaking to him through the language of light. Chapter 16. Connecting with Light Language. By now, you have seen many examples of how people find and use light language in their lives. Whether it comes from nature, music, dreams, or the stars, light language is always around us, waiting for us to tune in and listen. But how can you connect with light language in your own life? First step is to be open to the light. You don't need any special skills or training to understand light language. You just need to pay attention. Spend time in quiet places, like nature or your home, and focus on the light and energy around you. You might not see or hear anything right away. If you practice being open, you will start to feel the light in small ways. Meditation is one way to help you connect with light language. By sitting quietly and focusing on your breathing, you can become more aware of the light and energy around. You might feel warmth, see colors, or feel a sense of peace. These are signs that the light is speaking to you. Another way to connect with light language is through creativity. When you draw, build, write, or make music, you are tapping into the energy of light. Pay attention to how you feel when you create. Do you feel inspired, happy, or calm? These feelings are the light guiding you through your creative process. Finally, trust your feeling. Light language doesn't use words, so you won't always understand it with your mind. But your heart will know what the light is saying. Trust the warmth, peace, and the love that you feel when you connect with light. These feelings are the language of light, and they will guide you in ways you may not expect. Light language is all around us, waiting to be felt and understood. It is a language that connects us to the energy of the universe to nature, to animals, and to each other. All you need to do is open your heart, listen. Chapter 17. Light Language and Personal Growth. Light language is not just about understanding messages from the universe. It can also be a powerful tool for personal growth. When we connect with light language, we often discover new insights about ourselves and our lives. It helps us see our true selves, heal old wounds, and grow in ways we might not have imagined. Emma, who had already experienced light language through meditation, found that it also helped her in her personal growth journey. She had always struggled with self-doubt and anxiety, but as she began to connect more deeply with light, she noticed changes in herself. One day, Emma decided to try a new meditation technique. Instead of focusing on her breath, she focused on the light within. She imagined a warm, glowing light inside her heart, growing brighter with each breath. As she did this, she felt a sense of calm and confidence that she had never felt before. The more she practiced, the more she noticed changes in her life. She became more confident in her decisions, more at ease in social situations, and more accepting of herself. The light seemed to be guiding her towards personal growth, helping her overcome her fears and doubts. Emma realized that light language was not just about understanding external messages, but also about connecting with her inner light. It was a way to tap into her true self, find the strength and wisdom she needed to grow. She felt grateful for the light that had helped her on her journey and knew that it would continue to guide her. Chapter 18. Light Language and Healing. Light language can also play a significant role in healing. Many people use it to help them recover from physical, emotional, or spiritual wounds. The light carries a healing energy that can help restore balance and well-being. Daniel had been struggling with a chronic illness for many years. Despite seeing numerous doctors and trying various treatments, he had not found much relief. One day, a friend told him about light language and suggested he try a healing meditation. Daniel was skeptical but decided to give it a try. He found a quiet space and sat down, focusing on the light around him. He imagined a warm, healing light flowing through his body, focusing on the areas where he felt pain or discomfort. As he did this, he began to feel a sense of relief. Over the next few weeks, Daniel continued with his healing meditations. He visualized the light clearing away the pain and restoring his body to a state of balance. He also noticed that he felt more peaceful and less stressed, which helped him cope better with his illness. To his surprise, Daniel started to see improvements in his condition, felt more energy and vitality, and his symptoms began to lessen. While he knew that light language was not a cure-all, he felt that it had played a significant role in his healing process. Daniel's experience taught him that light language could be a powerful tool for healing. By connecting with the light and allowing it to flow through him, he was able to support his body and mind in their recovery journey. Chapter 19. Light Language in Relationships. Light language can also enhance our relationships with others. It helps us connect on a deeper level, beyond words and superficial interaction. When we understand the energy of light, we can communicate more openly and honestly, fostering stronger and more meaningful connections. Sarah and Tom had been friends for many years, but they had recently been feeling distant. They both sensed that something was missing in their friendship, couldn't quite put their finger on it. One day, Sarah learned about light language and decided to share it with Tom. They both agreed to try a light language exercise together. They sat in a quiet room, closed their eyes, and focused on the light around them. Sarah and Tom didn't speak. Instead, they let their hearts and the light guide their connection. As they sat in silence, they felt a shift in their energy. It was as if the light was bringing them closer together, helping them understand each other's feelings and emotions without needing words. They both felt a deep sense of love and connection that they hadn't experienced before. After their light language exercise, Sarah and Tom talked openly about their feelings and concerns. They realized that the light had helped them see their friendship in a new light, deepening their understanding of each other and strengthening their bond. Sarah and Tom continued to use light language in their relationship, finding that it helped them communicate more openly and connect on a deeper level. They were grateful for the new dimension of their friendship and the light that had brought them closer together. Chapter 20. Light Language and Dreams. Dreams are another way we can experience light language. When we dream, our minds are free to explore new ideas and experience. Light language can appear in dreams as symbols, colors, or feelings, helping us gain insights and understanding. Emily had always been fascinated by her dreams. She often had vivid dreams filled with strange symbols and colors. One night, she had a dream that was different from any she had ever experienced. In her dream, Emily found herself in a beautiful garden filled with glowing flowers and trees. The light in the garden was soft and warm, and the flowers seemed to pulse with a gentle energy. As she walked through the garden, she felt a deep sense of peace and joy. Suddenly, the flowers began to change colors, and Emily saw symbols appear in the light. They were like ancient runes or hieroglyphs, glowing softly in the air. Emily felt a sense of wonder as she looked at the symbols, even though she didn't understand them. When Emily woke up, she felt refreshed and inspired. She decided to try to draw the symbols she had seen in her dream. As she drew, she felt a connection to the light and energy from the garden. She realized that the symbols were a form of light language, and they had given her insights into her own feelings and experiences. Emily's dream had shown her that light language could appear in many forms, including dreams. By paying attention to the light and symbols in her dreams, she was able to gain new understanding and connect with the energy of light in a different way. Chapter 21. Light Language and Intuition. Light language is closely connected to intuition. Intuition is the ability to understand something without needing to think it through or use logical reasoning. It's a kind of inner knowing that comes from deep within us, and light language can help us access and trust our intuition. James had always been a very logical person. He relied on facts and evidence to make decisions and rarely trusted his gut feeling. But one day, he started to feel that something was missing in his life. He wanted to learn how to trust his intuition and connect with his inner self. he decided to try working with light language to see if it could help. James began practicing meditation and focusing on the light around him. He paid attention to the feelings and impressions that came up during his practice. Over time, James noticed that he started to trust his intuition more. He began to sense things before they happened and make decisions based on his inner guidance rather than just logic. He found that the light helped him connect with his deeper self and understand his true feelings and desires. James's experience taught him that light language and intuition are closely linked. By tuning into the light, he was able to access a deeper level of understanding and trust his inner voice. He felt more confident and in tune with himself, knowing that the light was guiding him in the right direction. Chapter 22. Sharing Light Language. One of the most beautiful aspects of light language is that it can be shared with others. When we connect with the light, we can pass that energy and understanding on to those around us. Sharing light language can help others experience its power and beauty, creating a ripple effect of light and connection. Sophia had been learning about light language for some time and wanted to share her experiences with her friends and family. She decided to organize a gathering where people could come together and explore light language through meditation, art, and discussion. At the gathering, Sophia led a meditation session where everyone focused on the light within themselves. She guided them to feel the warmth and energy of the light and to visualize it expanding beyond their bodies. After the meditation, she encouraged everyone to share their experiences, feelings. As people shared their stories, they realized that they had all felt the light in different ways. Some saw colors and symbols, while others felt a deep sense of peace and connection. The room was filled with a warm, glowing energy as everyone connected through the language of light. Sophia also encouraged participants to express their experiences through art. Some people painted or drew the light they had seen, while others wrote poems or stories. Each piece of art was a unique expression of light language, capturing the feelings and insights that come through their experience. The gathering was a success, and everyone left feeling inspired and connected. Sophia was grateful for the opportunity to share light language with others and was excited to continue exploring and spreading its message. She knew that by sharing the light, she was helping to create a world where people could connect more deeply and understand each other better. Chapter 23. The Future of Light Language. As more people learn about light language, its possibilities and potential continue to grow. Light language has the power to connect us with ourselves, each other, and the universe. It offers a new way of understanding and experiencing the world around us. In the future, light language may become more widely recognized and practiced. People may develop new techniques and tools for connecting with the light, and scientific research may uncover more about how light and energy affect our lives. Imagine a world where light language is a common part of daily life. People could use it to communicate, heal, and grow, creating a more connected and harmonious world. Schools and communities might offer programs to help people explore and understand light language, making it accessible to everyone. As we continue to explore the possibilities of light language, we can look forward to a future filled with light, connection, and understanding. By embracing the language of light, we open ourselves to new experiences and insights, creating a world where we are all connected through the energy of the universe. Light language is a gift that we can all access and share. It offers a new way of seeing and experiencing the world, helping us connect with the light within and around us. As we continue on our journey with light language, we can look forward to a future filled with endless possibilities and opportunities for growth, healing, and connection.